Hello guys, this is Vikram and welcome to my channel. In this video, we'll see how to set up Sonatype Nexus on AWS EC2 instances. We'll be referring the official Nexus documentation to see what are the various available options for setting up Nexus, along with checking other options available for administering Nexus. So without further ado, let's get started. So for installing Nexus, there are certain prerequisites. For example, Java 8 or 11 is the minimum required Java version to be running in the EC2 instances in order to install Nexus. So we need at least 4 VCPs and 4 GB of RAM. And by default, Nexus runs on port 8081. So we need to open port 8081 in the security groups. And also we need to run all the Nexus process as a Nexus user. So we'll be creating a new user and we'll be adding this user to the sudo's file as well. And then we'll download the Nexus repository OSS package, which is open source Nexus repository package. And once this is downloaded, we'll unzip the file and then create a service file to run this file through systemctl. And once everything is up and running, we can visit the IP:8081 on the browser to see the Nexus landing page. And for logging into the Nexus, so the default username is admin and password will be automatically generated in a file. So we are going to see step-by-step process in the demo. So I'm in the browser, so I'll go to Sonatype Nexus. So I'll click on the first link, and this is the official link for Sonatype. So you can see that Sonatype also offers Pro version. You can request for a free trial to work on the Nexus repository Pro version, and this is the world's #1 repository manager supporting various languages. So it can act as a single source of truth for all your components, binaries and build artifacts that are generated out of your CI process. And these are the various languages supported. So you can have packages for Go, NPM packages, Maven packages, EM modules, Maven modules, Maven plugins, etc. So you can use Nexus for all your artifact needs, and it integrates with other CI platforms as well, like the Circle CI and Jenkins. And these are the various differences between the Nexus Pro version and the JFrog Artifactory, which is another popular Artifactory store. And coming to the differences, so Nexus will only cost you $3,000 per year, but at the same time JFrog Artifactory would cost you $30,000 per year. And repository health check, it is basically free in both the versions. And universal component support is free in OSS version of Nexus, but at the same time in JFrog you need to upgrade it to the Pro version. And in order to download it directly, you may not find the download links over here. So what we'll do is we'll search for download links by typing download Nexus. And I highly suggest you go to this help.sonatype.com. So we'll visit this link and we'll select the product first. So this is the official documentation of Sonatype for all its product. So we'll be selecting our product, which is Nexus repository version 3. So there are various available options on the left hand side. For example, you can get all the product information of the Nexus 3 and how to plan your implementation, like how to run it and how to install and upgrade, how to administer your Nexus repository, like adding the users, roles, LDAP configurations, etc. So you can also do integrations with the third-party tools like the Jenkins, etc. And now coming to the product information, so you can get all the download links from this option and all the release notes from this option over here. And coming to the system requirements, as we already said, so the Nexus supports both Linux and Windows operating system, and at the same time we need Java 8 as the minimum required version. So you can get that information from this page only. So coming to this Java, Nexus repository requires at least Java 8 as the Java runtime environment, and you can also run Nexus as the Docker container. So from this page you can get all the information. And coming to the CPU requirements, you would need minimum CPUs as 4 and the minimum required are 8 plus. So this is a requirement. And coming to the memory requirement, so you would be needing at least this 3 GB of RAM, and this is for the JVM heap. And for the host RAM, you would need at least 8 GB. That is a minimum. And coming to the maximum requirements, there are no limits. So these are the memory guidelines that you have to follow. And coming to the directory requirements, so you would need, you can use embedded database, which is basically your H2 database, or you can also use blob storages. So these are all the file systems and blob stores supported. in case of Nexus. So all the official documentation gives the complete information. And coming to the database requirements, so by default Nexus comes with the Istio database, which is an embedded database in the Nexus, and you can also integrate with the Postgres databases. You can also integrate with Amazon RDS instance and Amazon Aurora, Azure PostgreSQL, and an instance of PostgreSQL that you provide. That means in the on-prem also you can run your PostgreSQL instance and have your Nexus talk to that database. And coming to the download, so you can go to this download archives, where you'll have the links for each operating systems. For Unix, this is the link, and you also have the links for Windows and OS X, and you can also get the links for the older versions in the same page. And going to the other documentations like planning or implementation, so if you want the high availability, and you can check this options over here. So there are many use cases and needs where you want to set up Nexus as a highly available storage. In this case, you have multiple blob storages per installation, and all should be in sync. Okay, so for reading, you can read from any of the blob storages, but for writing, you will write it to the master. So it is like a master slave configuration. And if you want to run it behind a proxy server, so you can get that information in the installation options over here. And coming to the SQL database options, you will get all the options here. And running behind a reverse proxy, that configuration can be taken from here. So this is the complete documentation that gives you every information. And also, in order to keep your disk space usage low, so what are the best practices you have to follow, even that information is given in the official documentation. And coming to the installation and upgrade, so we have various installation methods. So if you just click on the installation methods, so in the Unix so in the Unix environment, what you have to do is you have to download the tarball file and you have to extract it. So inside this tarball file, once you extract it, there will be a bin folder. Inside it bin folder, you'll have the Nexus. So all you have to do is run the Nexus binary and pass on the arguments like run, start, stop, etc. So this is how you run it. And in the Windows also it's the same. All the difference is in Windows you have the exe file, and also you can run Nexus as a Docker container. And coming to the running as a service, let's say if you want to run it as a service or at the time of boot, so there are two options. So one is adding to the init, or else you can also write a systemd service file. So this is the option that we are going to see in the video in the practical. So you'll be creating a Nexus service file where execute start will run your Nexus binary with start as the argument, and for the execute stop you will run the Nexus binary with stop as the argument, and you will run it as a Nexus user. So the prerequisite is you have to run all the process involved in your Nexus as the Nexus user. And at the same time, in order to run as a service, so you have to modify various configurations as well. Inside bin directory you have a nexus.rc file. So here you have to uncomment this file and give the user as Nexus, so it runs Nexus as a Nexus user. So this is the prerequisite. So we'll also see what are the various other options available or the configurations to be changed in order to run Nexus on a different port other than 8081. And also we have administration part over here, where you can have administrative works like adding the users, adding the capabilities, adding the roles, configuring the SSLs, email configuration, retry limits and configurations, how to run Nexus across multiple nodes. So all these things are also available, and even the advanced options like replication, etc. are also available. So what we'll do is first we'll go to the EC2 launch panel, and we'll try to create an instance and try to run the Nexus. So I'll be clicking on this launch instances, select a instance type. So I'll be using T2 medium and click on configure details. So I'll be putting everything to its defaults, no tags. Click on security group, and in the add rule I'll be adding 8081. So I'll click on review and launch and click on launch. So I'll be selecting the key value pair which I already have and launch instances. So while the instances are launching, I can just click on view instances, and I'll just try to rename it to Nexus demo. So since it is already running, I already got the IP address. I'll just take this IP address and then log into the instance. So I'll be editing one of the already saved sessions, already configured with the private keys. So basically I'm using the mobile system to SSH into the instances. So I'll become root. So the first thing I'll do is I'll go into the op directory, because this is where I wanted to store all the Nexus related downloaded files. And then I'll go to the product information and then go to the download option. So I'll just right click on this Unix archive and click on this copy link address. And then so I'll use wget utility to download this file. And if I do ls-l, so I can see this tarball downloaded. So I'll use *-xvzf to untar this file. So once you untar this file, so you'll be seeing two options, or sorry, two folders. One is your Nexus and one is your Sonatype work. Basically this is the data directory. We'll also see how to change this data directory. And now one thing which I'll do is I'll basically rename this particular folder to much simpler name, which is Nexus. And now inside this Nexus folder you'll have all the binary files. So if I go to this bin directory, so I'll have all the options like starting the Nexus. So this is the binary. So one thing you have to note here is that both this Nexus directory and the Sonatype work are owned by root, but this is not the one which we want. So we want both these folders to be owned by Nexus user. So what we'll do is first we'll create the Nexus user and then recursively change the directory permissions. So first thing what I'll use this user add option to create Nexus user. And once this is created, I'm going to change the password of this Nexus user. So it is up to you to give whatever password you wanted to give. And once the password is updated, so I'm going to add this user to the sudoers file. So I will use vi sudo to open the sudoers file, and then I will add this particular user. So how will I add? So basically I'll put the username and then all is equal to all. So I don't want this user to use password to invoke the sudo command, so I'd be using this no password all option. And then I'm going to save this file. So now sudo user is created. So first thing what I'll do is I'll go to my opt directory and then see all the files. So this is the folder. These two are the folders which I'm interested in. So I'm going to change the permissions of both these folders. So I'll use change ownership -r. So I want Nexus user and Nexus group to own this folder as well as the Sonatype work folder. So if I do ls-l, so you can see that both these folders are now owned by Nexus. Now I'll go to the Nexus installation directory inside bin. So there is a file over here which is Nexus RC. So if I just vi into this Nexus RC, so you can see this run as user option which is basically commented out. So I have to remove the hash and then input the Nexus over here and then save this file. So in order to change the Sonatype work, which is basically your data directory, so you have to use the Nexus VM options. So you can vi into this file, and this is where you change your directory to any directory where you wanted to take the backup of your data. And coming to the port requirements, so you won't find anything over here. So you have to go one step back, and here you'll find a etc directory. So inside this EC directory you have Nexus default properties. If I open this Nexus default properties, so you can see the application port number and also the host. So you can change it here, and also you can change the Nexus context path. Let's say if you want to run Nexus on /Nexus context path, so you can have the option set up over here. So now I'm going to exit from this file because I won't want to make any changes. Now in order to run Nexus as a service, so if you go to the official documentation inside the installation and upgrade, so we have the run as a service. So there are two options, one to add Nexus to the init, and also you can have an option to write this configuration file. So what I'll do is I'll take this configuration file, put in a separate file. So basically I have the Nexus installation under /opt/nexus. So this one I have renamed it to Nexus. And inside bin we have the Nexus binary, and start and stop are the options. So run as the Nexus user, this is also fine. And restart on boot, you can also have an option to restart always. So it is up to you to configure this service file. Basically, where do we write this service file? So we have to create a nexus.service unit file. So in the etc systemd system, so I'm going to create a file known as nexus.service, and I'm going to paste all those contents over here. Just save it. And now in order to enable this, use systemctl enable nexus. So this is enabled. Now if you want to start it, so you have to use systemctl start nexus. So it is saying systemctl nexus journal access for details. So we have to, okay, so the first thing that we forgot to install is, so we didn't install the Java. So first the requirement is also Java. So I'm going to install Java 8 by using yum update -y and yum install Java 1.8. So I'm going to take these files and then run it. So now if I just see Java -version, so I can see the Java version. Now what I'll do, I'll just use systemctl restart nexus. So this should restart nexus, and then if I just check the status one more time, so now you can see that nexus is up and running. So in order to view the home page, so what I can do is I can just take the IP address of nexus instance and go to 8081. So it will take at least 2 minutes of time to completely load nexus. So we'll keep refreshing the page. So nexus repository is starting. So first we have to sign in. So the initial user is admin, but the password can be found from /opt sonatype work and nexus 3, which you remember, this is the data directory of nexus. So I'm just going to take this path and use cat to copy the content. So it is saying, okay, so we missed slash at the beginning. So you have to take this token and then copy it as the password. So now you can change your password here and then click on next, disable anonymous access, next, complete, and then you can just enable this capability. So for this I should use the password as well. Yeah, so this is the home page. So there are two options. First one is browsing the contents of the server. So this is the first one where you can browse various artifacts in the various repositories. You can also manually upload them over here. And coming to this care symbol over here, so this is for the server administration and configuration. So where you can create various repositories, blob stores, and set the cleanup policies to remove unused artifacts after some days. In the security front, you have the creation of roles, users, adding some privileges, connecting to the external LDAP servers, creating configuring the SSL certificates. So everything is given here. So that's it for this video. In the coming videos, we'll see how to create various repositories like the snapshot and release repositories and proxy repositories and group repositories, and we'll also see how to integrate with Jenkins and with Maven. Thank you.
That's it for this video, guys. If you like our video, consider subscribing to our YouTube channel and joining our Facebook group. The links are given in the description below. You can also scan the QR codes being displayed in this video. And for any training requirements, you can join our Telegram channel where we post regular updates on our upcoming trainings. You can also WhatsApp us on the number being shown here. You can also drop us an email for any kind of training inquiries. Thank you.